Hi, and welcome to the Growth Advantage podcast. Today, we're diving into a fascinating sector, wine commerce. Our guest is Moez Seraly, the founder of Cellar, a company that isn't just selling bottles, they're selling moments of joy and shared memories. Moez is leveraging technology like AI to solve a fundamental problem in the industry, the lack of personalisation and genuine care. Moez, thanks ever so much for joining us. I'm excited to explore how you're combining high quality exclusive wines with cutting edge technology to achieve profitability and also to set the stage for massive growth. I'd love for you to tell us a bit about your business, if you don't mind, and where the concept came from.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hi, Rebecca. Thank you for having me. Honestly, the concept comes from just like most businesses start is out of personal experience. And as you mentioned, I come from a tech background. I've been in the tech industry for pretty much all my life. I just happened to have my best friends, and my wife's best friend became the white coat of the wine industry. You know, the oenologist and master sommeliers and so on. So I was kind of put into the wine soup a little bit by default, if you want. But my experience of wine, I mean, the reason I drink when I open a bottle of wine, and it's always been the case, I just like to open it with my wife, some friends, and really have a good time, right? Basically. And for me, the element of that make that happen for me is obviously I want to enjoy the wine. So the wine has to be well made and good quality. So that's no compromise there. And the second thing is the company and also the moments you create around them to be able to talk about the wine and just kind of really make it an experience. And those create some amazing memory. My best memories with my friend is when we had a really good night all together, had a nice meal, paired the food with the wine with the right food and so on. And it's been absolutely amazing. So that's kind of the heart of what we do. And as I was looking into the wine industry in general, I was a bit sad to see that there is almost kind of divided into either you have a lot of money and you can actually go and source really good, expensive wine, or you're down to the supermarket and the traditional source. There are some wine in between, but majority of people don't know, right? And the problem with the supermarket element of it is that they have millions of bottles. You know, that they cannot just afford to have 10,000 bottles. It will barely last in one Tesco site. So because of that, there is a lot of compromise. They have to do mass produce. So the way the consumer was kind of evolving was really toward better experiences, better quality. We all cook food now. You know, truffle is no longer a luxury. You know, you can buy truffle from supermarkets. So we all evolve. So what we're doing is technology is that in one hand, we are using technology to allow us to source from a very large number of small, medium-sized producers. So we handpick all the wine, but we can actually deal with thousands of them. And that's one part of technology help us doing that cost effectively. The second part is when you receive the bottle. That's what matters to me. So when you receive the bottle, I don't want it to be on your own. Typically, when you buy a bottle of wine, you get a bottle, it's delivered to your home, and that's it, you're on your own. At best, you might get an email to ask you to buy it again, or you might get a Zoom call, you know, if you're lucky now and again. And that basically it. So we saw there probably is a better choice. And what do people want? People want to have just basic information about the wine they've got at hand instantly. They don't want to go and search in Google. They also want to know, you know, why they like this wine. I mean, I like this one. And I remember before my friend started to advise me, I probably had about 2 or 3 bottles, a couple of reds and one white and a champagne. Those were my go-to. You know, every time I had a few of them, it was safe. I didn't want to take risk and enjoy. So, you know, people don't know how to go outside that comfort zone. So what we've done is we use technology like AI that allow you to scan any bottle, get instant information about the wine, like really basic information, but deep enough for you to be able to have a conversation with your friend. But also our technology will analyze the wine and give you similar wine that I've got very similar taste profile. So you don't have to gamble anymore. Yeah. So it's really, and then we partner with Michelin star restaurant and so on. And they gave us their recipe. So you can now cook a Michelin star level food to match your wine. So that's the first part of information gathering. But the second part is, you know, I had a privilege to have friends that knew me. So every time they came, they knew exactly what I like, and they bring me wine that are perfect for my taste. Every single time I opened a bottle was spot on. It was a joy, as you said, and I wanted that moment of joy. So the other part of the technology on the app, which is called Cellar IQ, allows you to do is that you can actually go, and every time you drink a bottle, and it doesn't have to be our bottle. It can be anywhere in the world. It can be in Japan, and I use it in Japan, and you can be in a restaurant. What I recommend people to do is once you get Cellar IQ, every single time you open or drink a bottle, scan it and just say whether you like it or not, because that only you can define that. I cannot tell you what you like or you don't like. So the more you tell the app what you like, what you don't like, you even have a space to tell them what you why you like it or you don't like it, then our AI will then learn about you, and effectively the app will become your personal advisor. So what we've done is we combine a really, really smart sourcing of exceptional wine that you can buy from £10 all the way to £300 that are extremely well made. And then you have the technology that allows you to really take that bottle a few steps further than normal. So that's what we're trying to do. And then we do a lot of other things as well to create moment of joy. But ultimately what makes us happy is that when our customer come back to us and say, the wine was amazing and I've learned so much, and now I've starting to go outside my comfort zone, and I'm so happy because I can find they're not gambling anymore.
Of course, I can totally relate to that. You're so right. So many people, myself included, you have your 3 or 4 go-tos, and then you sort of never really veer away from those unless somebody recommends something else to you. And so I love the way that this is opening up those different experiences to people. You've clearly stated that Perfect Cellar doesn't just sell wine, that you sell moments of joy and shared memories. What does this philosophy mean in practice, and how does it fundamentally change the way you curate your product and portfolio design? And how do you design that customer experience altogether?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's one of those things. So we live in today's world where majority of things we do is online. We buy majority of things online. We talk to our friends with social media online. Now with AI pretty much thinking for us now. So it's like we live in that virtual world. And I think we're seeing a trend where people they want to feel special. That they don't want to be seen as another Amazon customer, as another person who's going to, that they want to feel that, they matter. And I think that's how we try to do. So it goes from, when you select the wine, for example, we don't just select, there are millions and millions, tens of millions of bottles. So, and there's a lot of good bottles there. So what we do, we've got a few criteria. So first of all, we need to make sure that the wine is extremely well made. It's the parallel I make about a good winemaker and it's like a Michelin star chef or a good chef. A good chef will have really good raw ingredients. He'll have the skills to put them together, and he'll have a beautiful dish. When we select our winemaker, is the same thing. He has to be a winemaker that really look up for his crop, doesn't use pesticide, insecticide, but really care about them, and then has got the skill set for that community for decades and centuries to convert those grapes into an amazing product, and then you have a great bottle of wine. So that's part of it. So that's the first element of it. The second thing is when you get the wine. Right, when the wine is delivered to you, you want it to be smooth. You want it to be, I purchase this the next day or very quickly get the wine. We deliver that, but we also have a really, really beautifully packaged wine that makes you feel special. It feels like, oh, I've treated myself. Doesn't matter you spend £50 for a case or you spend £500, you're treating the same, And I think that's how the first part of it. And then once you have the app and you have all your wine purchase, you don't have to do anything. All of your wine are loaded there, and then you can start in. Imagine you today, if you open a bottle of wine, you open a bottle of wine, right? You know it. You say, and that's it. So you start chatting with your friends and starting gossiping or whatever you do, and so. But imagine you add element to your experience. You're starting to scan, and you've got a few sentences about the wine, and you say, oh, that's really good, and you're starting to feel that you actually can talk confidently. You don't have to be a wine expert, but you can starting to talk about the wine. Those are little things that kind of bring joy. And the more you do that, the more you kind of learn about some of the wine you drink. And then obviously, if you are going to have a meal and you decide you want to have a special night and you're going to open one of your special bottles, to be able to then having a recipe that is made by a Michelin star chef or a top chef that you can cook and then you can match as your wine. I can tell you that evening is going to be very special.
Fantastic.
So, we do that. Then there is also one last thing. So I was going to say we do, which is really very exciting. I'm just trying to find it here. It's we bought some small pouches that are tasting our wine, and in the next few weeks we're going to introduce the ability for us to be able to send our customers a pouch of wine. It's actually a full glass of wine that we just give you as a customer. So for you, when you buy from us, we're going to give you the tools to be able to try different wines without taking any risk, and adding some accessories that allow you to serve the wine, but it aerates the wine straight away, so you don't have to decant it. Because quite frankly, I don't. I've got all the tools. I've got amazing decanters and so on. 99% of the time, I don't bother unless I have to show off. I don't bother because the sort of cleaning the decanter, I can be bothered. So, if you have tools that allow you to really get that extra pulse of the wine, it just make those moments really special.
That's amazing. I can really see how people can start to create experiences from their own homes, dinner parties and sort of special evenings between loved ones, etc. How do you maintain the rigorous quality control of the wines that you source whilst sort of maintaining that price range? And why is this non-negotiable for customer trust?
I mean, we're quite lucky because the way the wine is processed, it's not something that they build throughout the year. So basically, what they do is typically in winter they they prepare the vines. Then in spring and summer they let the vines to grow and mature, and then give or take, depends on the countries. It varies a bit, but and then in the winter they, like the autumn, they're starting to really the grape, the picking, and then they make the wine. So it's all made in one go. So when we come to a new year, a new vintage in Q1, that's where we do the quality control. That's where we get all the samples. We travel all around the various shows and so on, and and we receive a lot of the wines and we taste the wine. And there is sometimes wine that are done amazingly well the year before, but for some reason, because of weather or whatever that happens, when we saw the new vintage, we just thought, what, we don't think it's up to scratch, and then we don't list it. That's it. So every year, this is the hard part of our job. We have to taste so many wines. We decided somebody has to take one for the team, so we're making all the sacrifices for the consumer.
From the packaging to the entire customer journey, your goal is to make the customers feel special, as you've alluded to throughout the conversation so far. Could you walk us through the elements of Perfect Cellar, the whole experience that go beyond the bottle itself, from beginning to end?
Yeah, so the experience is quite straightforward. You can go to the website, and obviously, if you know your wine, you can go and select and look for the grapes. So it's a very easy way to search. If you don't, but if you don't have time or you want some advice, basically, we have something called a case builder, for example. And let's say you're logged in and you're already a customer of Perfect Seller, because we know what we bought from us before. We already have a really clever profile of your preferences done. On the builder is really smart. You can just go, oh, actually, I just want a case of six. So I want two white, two red, and two rosés. That's all. And you say, I want wine from, I don't know, 10 to 15 pounds, 15 to 25, or 50 pounds plus. You select whatever your price point is. You just go, okay. Then our tool will learn about what you like, and literally within 5 seconds will create a case for you, and then you actually purchase the wine. Once you have made the purchase, quite often we contact our customer to make sure that they're happy, so that they help, we're here. And then within the next day, typically, if you order before 1 o'clock, the next day you receive your wine
Great.
in absolutely beautiful, 100% recyclable. Sustainability is also very important to us. So the whole package there is no plastic or anything. It's really solid. It's really well packaged. So each bottles are covered in 3 parts, and it's quite a pretty thing. And the design of the box is really, really pretty. And so we spend a lot of time to make sure that it's there. And then when you receive that, it's part of that. And then obviously when you have the wine, and you have downloaded our app, all your wine you purchase are automatically already on your app. So the only thing you have to go is to look at the app. So it's kind of the whole journey. And then there is one other things we do as well. We do some tasting boxes that effectively are 3 pouches of wine that you can buy, and that are delivered to your letterbox. That allows you to, if you don't want to really, if you're scared and you want to kind of try some 20+ pounds bottle wines, but you don't really want to buy the full bottle and so on. So for about 20 pounds and so on, you get 3 full glasses of wine delivered to your home on a letterbox, and then for you to actually try the wine. So it's kind of a way for try before you buy.
That's an amazing idea. That's really appealing, actually. And is that a really popular product? Is it quite
Yeah, it
new?
is. I mean, it's popular in the three bottle box, but where it's really popular, literally, we can't make enough of them. It's in Christmas because we created an advent calendar with 24 of those wines, and that's, I mean, you have 24 glasses of exceptional wine every day in December. So, I mean, that
Amazing idea.
we can beat that, yeah.
Brilliant. I'm so tempted to try that for advent calendar for this year. Many consumers feel lost when choosing wine, as we know.
Yeah.
How did this realization lead to the development of the apps that you've mentioned? And what is the app's primary function in turning a transactional customer into a loyal, engaged wine enthusiast?
Yeah, I mean, it's what we discussed at the beginning. I think, sadly, in the world of e-commerce in general, just not in wine, people are just seen as as a big credit card, and you buy a product and you got it on your own. Certain companies like Apple and so on do have a really good aftercare service, but so we try to emulate that. So what we do is we understood we listen to our customer a lot, and I think we talk to them a lot, and their pain point was very simple. Is exactly what you said. They say, I don't have expertise, I just know what I like. So the app help you with that. So just tell us what you like, just scan what you like, and we'll tell you, here's other choices you have, and here's the food you can go without. So we can try to elevate that experience. The second point is, as you mentioned, is that they don't know how to choose it. It's a minefield. So that's why we created those kind of case builders, and also the app kind of learns about you. And then the great thing is, now, if you go on the app and you go into my wine section, there's a button called My Recommendation. So in that one, it's about 12 to 18 bottles that are selected, and they've been handpicked to match exactly your profile. So
Right.
suddenly now you don't have to choose from 600 bottles anymore. You've got 18 bottles that have been handpicked for you. And I think that's a kind of a starting point to help you really get that. So we're really trying to take everything we have in terms of knowledge, and we box that, and we're just giving it to you.
Can you imagine, like you say, when somebody first goes on, perhaps it can be overwhelming. So the fact that it narrows it down to ones that match your profile and what you're looking for and what you like, etc. That's really good. That I imagine that makes it easier for somebody to sort of know where to start, as it were. So obviously the app uses AI. Does it for personalised recommendations based on taste and budget and food pairing, etc.? Could you share an example of how the app provides advice, perhaps that a customer couldn't get from a generic search engine or perhaps from any other apps that are out there?
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of the information, I mean, we haven't invented AI or the internet or the data, right? And wine is a very mature product, so it's been sold for thousands of years. So what we tend to do is we trying to keep it in. So the information is there. So gathering the information. So when you scan the bottle, we use AI. We gather the information as much as we can, but because we kind of have a good feel from our customer about what really matters to them. So what we've done is we actually educated the app and the AI to just bring the basic information. It's enough for you to do that. So you don't, when you go to do a Google search and you do or an AI search and so on, the problem you have is that you have a balance between, sometimes you just have the wine name and a one liner. Sometimes you have an encyclopedia of information, and sometimes it's literally just so technical garbage. You just don't know what we're reading. So what we've done is we say, okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to synthesize that information into a common format. So every single time you use our app, it's always the same format. It's always concise but rich enough. But what you don't get from the internet is the internet doesn't learn about you. So every time is completely, so this is the more you use the app, the more the output of the result will be tailored to you. And I think that becomes really personal. That some of our more regular app users they literally live by that. I've got some customer that now they said literally they tried 10, 15 different wines, where normally they're only doing 3 or 4 wines in a year. They've now, last year, they drank 15 different wines. And they're so happy because there are certain wines that they never thought that they would try. And it can be from anywhere. I've got a Bordeaux drinker who suddenly now fell in love with Spanish wine. because he just realized that he's got the depth, the richness, some of those things for value for money. He felt he was getting a lot more for his buck. So he's really happy. So, and that's makes me happy, because without the app, without us, he would have never ever gone and tried. It's not even a Rioja. It's no, it's some obscure region in Spain, but they're just super happy.
Amazing. So I guess the users of the app can, as they try new wines from yourselves, they can then give feedback on that wine and how what their experience was with it, and that's how it grows the information on that person. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. Yeah, and also, and that's how we kind of educate. That's how the app gets educated about your preference. So with wine, I always recommend. I mean, for me, wine is, I've got two criterias. It's I like it, I don't like it. Full stop. So I
Yeah,
think as long as you continue to be honest about what you like and don't like, then we can help you. Because obviously we know all our bottles are great, right? In terms of the quality of the production, there are certain wines in the portfolio I wouldn't drink. Not because they're not well made, it just doesn't fit my taste profile. Some of them are too strong, or some of them are too light, or whatever. So I drink what I like, and my team drink what they like. And sometimes we've got a lot of debate, and they get frustrated with me because I say, yeah, it's all right. And I say, I say, yeah, great, but you can tell me that I've drunk 300 pounds bottle, and some of my experts were like, "Oh, this is so well made." And honestly, I say, honestly, for me, it doesn't do it. It just doesn't do it. That's all. And I think that's really important, and that's why I recommend, if you're honest with the app, if the app knows I don't like that type of wine, then you will not recommend me something similar.
fantastic. And could you also give a bit more information about? I know you've sort of mentioned the Michelin-starred chefs, etc. How does that work for the customer? Obviously, it's about building an experience. So how can they sort of r- create those meals? Well, how do you do that, and where do they find the information on that?
So it's literally, as soon as you scan the bottle, literally just a bit below, there will be a set of recipes that are matching that particular bottle. And when you click those recipes, you have the list of ingredients and you have the cooking method. Like a normal usual Instagram post, you will see how to cook. That's exactly what you get there.
Fantastic. That sounds really exciting. And what a great idea. I know you have exciting plans going forwards as well for the app. How do these future features align with your long-term vision for international expansion and growth? And sort of could you give us a hint of sort of other features that you might be looking to introduce to the app as well and to the website potentially?
Absolutely. One of the two of the exciting features that are going to come in is that on the app, you are able to say, oh, actually, I've got 2 bottles of that, 3 bottles of that, and so on. So at least you manage your inventory. So now the app know what you have at home, right? So one of the features that we're just about to launch in the next few weeks is that if you're about to cook a meal, or decide the day before you're going to cook a meal, what you're able to do is either type the name of the meal, or if you are most of my time when I eat is like, I've just cooked something. I asked my wife, "Oh, do you feel like a glass?" And she say yes or no, or I feel like yes or no. So quite often I decide on the spot, right? Because it depends on how my mood is. So the app will allow you to take a photo of your meal, literally take a photo of your meal, and then the app will analyze what is the best bottle from what you have at home, and it will tell you based on what you have at the moment, here's the best bottle to go with your meal. And that I think is really special, because most of the apps on the internet and so on, they do food and wine pairing, but you're cooking a couscous and they will tell you, oh, a nice Lebanese red. Yeah, it's great, but I don't have a Lebanese red at home right now, and I want to drink something now. So we try to give you the choice of what you can drink. So we will do that analysis for you.
It's amazing. Yeah, it sounds really exciting, and be really good to see how you continue to expand and grow in the coming sort of months and years. So, what kind of level of orders do you have take per month currently, and sort of what's your goal for the next 12 months?
I mean, yeah, obviously the business is now starting to kind of do millions in sales annually. We're now trying to get to a point where this year we're going to expand to a much wider population, and we wanted to make sure that we can deliver what we promise really well to a small group of people. And when I say small group of people, we're talking 10,000 people already, or 15,000 people already bought from us. So it's small, but not that small. What we want to do now is trying to kind of almost expand that to a much wider group of population, because everybody should deserve a moment of joy. As I said recently, happiness is not a luxury, it's a right. So if we can help people to have those little moments of joy that brings even a small moment of happiness in their life, then we do our job. And I'd like to spread that love to as many people as I can.
Fantastic. And how are you going about marketing and advertising the products that you've got at the moment? And sort of what are your plans going forwards to improve on that?
So a couple of things. You use a traditional performance marketing with Meta, Google, Instagram, Facebook. So that's kind of our core. We are quite lucky as well that we've got some amazing partnerships with companies that want to promote our product to their staff, to their own customers, because they know that when they recommend Perfect Seller, that they will have good feedback from the customer. The biggest way we're going to increase it, obviously, then you can scale that by spending more money. But for me, that's not how I want to grow the business. The way I want to grow the business is it's already happening. We're just about to launch and that's the second feature I didn't mention on the app, is what we call the member get member. So basically, as you recommend Perfect Seller to your friends and your friends buy, we have a cashback system in our website. So every time you spend money with us, 3% of what you spend go back into your account. So when you check out, you accumulate money. So if you recommend your friend and that your friend buy, we will top up your account by £15. So if you recommended 10 friends, for example, well, you're going to have £150 to spend on wine. So, what we want to do is we want to make our customer our biggest advocate. We want our customers to become our biggest salespeople, because quite frankly, if they have a good experience, I'm sure they want their friends. And the more their friends become, we are, it's not going to be now, but in the next 6 to 12 months, we're going to expand the app to become a social platform. So, for example, you will be able to find your friends on the app, and then starting to have conversation with your friends about
Right.
food and so on, and really starting to share, almost creating a community. So if you want to create your own wine club, you'll be able to create your own wine club there, and then starting to talk about wines and so on. So really trying to give you more chance to explore and develop your wine community.
I love that idea of a wine community, like you say, building that community online with your friends and family and discussing it and then comparing. And maybe then it will make people have more social experiences that they perhaps wouldn't have
Exactly.
before. Sounds fantastic. What would you say are your perhaps your biggest operational challenges that you face with your current tech stack as you transition into a major growth phase?
Yeah, I think it's always the same thing. I think obviously AI is developing at a pace that is extraordinary. So it's really trying to understand how we affect the consumer and the expectation. And I think that's the bit where we just need to kind of really stay current. And I think actually that's our strength, because we know how to stay current. But it's also a challenge, because as the time grows, then the information become almost it's instant. I mean, sometimes you go on ChatGPT, they already know. You just ask one question, and they went through your history, and they talk about things that you didn't ask because they know about you so much. So I think that kind of standard of almost somebody anticipating your every need means that the tolerance of people for mistakes is going to be lower and lower. So I think that's something we'll have to, as retailer, we'll have to navigate, because we call perfect seller because he has to be perfect for you, but perfection doesn't exist. So we will have sometimes, we are going to make mistakes. Sometimes we're not going to get it completely right and so on. Luckily, very rarely, but it happens. And I think it's those things. Sadly, in the current world, is the people who are not happy tend to be a lot more vocal than the people who are. So it's just really trying to. I'm watching that very, very carefully, because I think people's kind of mindset is changing quite rapidly.
We do live in a time of keyboard warriors, don't we? Like say, where people are less likely to offer praise, but more likely to offer criticism. So it's a shame, really, and sort of encouraging people to leave their positive feedback is so crucial for all businesses, and especially for a business like this. And what does your competition look like? Is there anybody else doing anything like this, or is this quite
No.
unique?
It is quite unique. I think obviously we're not the only company who sells good quality wine and so on. And every player has have got some good quality wines in their portfolio. I think where we differentiate a lot is that we don't compromise. So basically, just to get volumes of sales, I'm not going to put a very, very badly made wine just because it's popular. Right. So that's something we won't do. And secondly, is the combination of selling a really good quality product, which is and actually using the wine not as a product, but not as just a product, but as a medium to create a moment of joy. And if you just look at that, nobody is doing that simply because very few people understand wine and technology to use the technology to deliver that. Because if you look at if when you download the app and you use it, you won't see any tech. You won't even know there is tech behind it. It's literally you scan it and that's it. And you get the information and you read and you click and you play around and that's it. And the ability to utilize tech in a really user friendly way. And the other thing that tech does, which I think is super, super important, is that wine industry and the wine in general has got one big challenge always had is creating fear. Is actually creating a level of embarrassment. People are scared of being embarrassed about wine and getting it wrong. So there is that stigma. And so what we've done with the app, we're saying, no, you know what? We're not here to judge you. You do what you want in your own time. Nobody's going to ever judge what you write. It's your own space. But in the same token, by giving you those tools, we kind of help you build your own confidence. So hopefully everyone that buys from us not only drink good quality wine, but over time, without even knowing it, they have actually developed their own wine knowledge and they're confident in talking about wine. So it's all trying to kind of really help you because if you suddenly feel like, oh, actually, I'm at a restaurant and actually know more about how to select a wine on a wine list, well, again, that's another moment of joy.
Absolutely, yes.
So it's a multitude of things. So no, I don't think we have any competitors that actually do what we do post delivery. I think pre-delivery, yes, it's a very competitive market. I think where we stand out is the selection process and the post delivery. I think if you take those two things, I think we're extremely unique in what we do.
Fantastic. That's such a great position to be in. And this has been an incredibly insightful look at how a customer centric philosophy backed by smart technology can truly disrupt an established market. It's clear that your focus on genuine care and individualized experience is what sets Perfect Seller apart. For our listeners who want to experience this themselves, where can they find you?
I mean, yeah, if they go on to www.perfectseller.com and even within the website, you'll be able to view the Seller IQ page as well. So if you want to download the app, it's called Seller IQ. It's completely free of charge. So we don't charge anything for the app. And you don't have to be a customer of Perfect Seller to use the app. But obviously, if you do buy from Perfect Seller and you have the app, then you have the whole complete service available to you.
Well, Moez, thank you so much for your
Thank
time
you.
today. It's been fascinating hearing about your business, and I wish you every success in the future.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. It's been a pleasure to be here.
Brilliant. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.